Hello everyone and welcome back to MultipLX, the learning expedition from your office. My name is Diego Ferri, I'm a director at Faber-Novel. Faber-Novel is an independent and international group, leader on both digital transformation consulting and digital products and services development. Contact us to explore different opportunities on your company's transformation through design, tech, marketing, or cultural evolution. Every day with MultipLX, Faber-Novel invites our clients, colleagues, friends, and partners to connect for 30 minutes and share an analysis of a key trend about our economy and tech. Sina Weibo is the first open social media platform in China with over 500 million monthly active users, a novel representation of the new generation and highly engaging content. It is where netizens, celebrities, the government, and brands meet, debate, share their thoughts and feelings. It's China's pulse. As an authoritative source of information, Weibo played a central role during the COVID-19 crisis, where Chinese consumers flocked to express their anxiety, seek reliable information, and debate over hot topics. Brands have adopted this media to connect with Chinese consumers' hearts, create engagement, and generate sales. Since the strategic investment by Alibaba, Weibo has been a core traffic generation engine for e-commerce on Taobao, where 80% of Chinese e-commerce revenue is concentrated. Joining us today is Lily Chu, Data and Media Manager, and Catherine Wang, Project Director, speaking from our offices in Shanghai to share us their insights about this phenomenon. Feel free to ask questions through the presentation using our chat here on Zoom. I'll be your spokesperson. Lily, Catherine, I'm very glad to have you here today with us. Welcome back.
Thank you so much, Diego. We're very happy to share this whole presentation about Weibo. This is our sort of introduction of what Weibo is all about and why it's important in the China ecosystem and how brands are able to leveraging it. So I'm Catherine, the project director, as Diego introduced, and here's Lily.
Hi, everyone.
So we'll get started. Okay, so as we mentioned, we're gonna give you an overview of the Weibo ecosystem today, and we're gonna focus on three main parts. So I'm gonna talk about why Weibo is important, why it's called China's Pulse in the first place, and then Luli will take over to explain to you what is Weibo and how people are using it on a daily basis. And then we're gonna show you a few examples of how brands are actually leveraging Weibo to promote their brand or products through a few case studies. So let's get started. Before we jump into the presentation itself, I would like to ask a quick question to you guys. So what are the largest tech ecosystems in China? Do you know what companies are playing a major role? So if you have an answer, just try to use the chat function to show us what you come up with. I'm gonna give 30 seconds for you guys to answer. Exactly, Tencent is one. And of course, Alibaba. Yeah, I think you guys almost got 50% of it. So let's move on to the slides. You can see that we actually have four main players in the China tech ecosystem. So Baidu, Alibaba, Tencent, and ByteDance. So they are the biggest tech companies that are ruling really the digital sphere in China. And each one of them started with a certain vertical, and then they expanded themselves so much into several complicated ecosystems. So for example, Baidu, it started as a search engine just as Google, and then it got really strong in AI and autonomous driving. And Tencent, which started as a social network, expanded itself to be the top player basically in China for gaming. And it also expanded a lot in the past few years in healthcare. And then Alibaba, of course, you guys know it's one of the biggest e-commerce platforms in the world, and of course the #1 in China. And it also extended to industries such as travel and hospitality. And when we look at ByteDance, you probably are not familiar with the name, but you probably know TikTok, which is a worldwide popular short video app. and it belongs to ByteDance, and it also has a business of like the AI powered news engine in China, which is called Toutiao. So here I have the second question for you. Where do you think Weibo actually falls under into this, like this fourth ecosystem? It belongs to one of them. You can, again, use the chat function. Right, it's Alibaba. So I'm gonna quickly show you the complicated ecosystem of Alibaba. As we mentioned, like each one of the guys they will have a graph like this, which shows like how they are tapping into different type of industries or topics. So if you look at the bottom of this graph, you will see social media part. It has two main players. So one is Weibo, and it's actually the only public social media platform it has, because TikTok is more for enterprise communication, sort of like Slack in the West. And for Weibo, Alibaba owns 32% of Weibo's shares. And you will see a little bit of the integration between Alibaba's e-commerce platform and Weibo later in our presentation. So here you can take a look at sort of a snapshot of Weibo's stats. So on the top upper left corner, you can see it's the third largest social media platform in China. So the first one you probably know is WeChat. And then the second one is QQ, which is an instant messaging app. Existed actually before WeChat got popular. And the third one is Weibo. And if you look at the right side, you can see the audience of Weibo is really like young. 80% of the users are under the age of 35. And if you look at the bottom, it's really like a highly engaging platform. And there's, like Diego mentioned, there are 500 million monthly active users, and a lot of content I've posted here. And because, as I mentioned, there's dominantly like young people on the platform, it's a mix of educated and less educated people. And so you can find like useful tips, like accurate news, but at the same time, you will find false news or fake news, false information on this platform as well. And it's a go-to platform for a lot of trending topics on social for all kinds of topics. And you can see through the numbers how much content are produced every day on Weibo. So as we mentioned, why it is important. So first of all, it's a go-to platform for information. So Weibo is like China's version of Twitter, where you can have the general public, government organizations, and celebrities, enterprises all coming together, like share different type of knowledge or information. And when compared to WeChat, WeChat is more like a closed platform where you can only see content from shared by your friends or the accounts you follow. But Weibo is much more a public platform, just like Twitter. And it's really encouraging people to like share information both instantly and at a large scale. And the second point, again, it's a really young platform. You can have like mainly Gen Z people and millennials on the platform. They're very active, they're engaging, and they try to form their own communities around different topics. For example, like young people all love like chasing like celebrities, and they might be fans of like a certain celebrity, and they will form their little kind of celebrity group to like have online activities to support their idols on Weibo. And the third crucial point is that it's a platform where you can monitor people's sentiment towards different topics. Both negative and positive ones can be really easy to get spread at a large scale again. And that's why Weibo is very important for brands and also, of course, celebrities to manage their PR activities. So here I want to give you some examples of like what exactly are discussed on Weibo. Here are some examples from like the past few years. So when you look at 2018, which is in blue, there's Yanxi Palace. It's like a TV drama, which was really popular back in 2018. and there's China Produce 101. It's basically like American's Got Talent or American Idol type of variety show. And when you look at 2019, you can see there's also like government related topics, which is like the 70th anniversary of the PRC. And it also has like the hot news, like the Notre Dame Paris fire. And there are content on sports, like the China women's volleyball. And if you look at 2020, of course, the most popular topic was COVID-19. And actually, Weibo played a central role during the COVID-19 crisis. We observed some like aspects of this communication. So first of all, as a go-to platform for information, Weibo's traffic actually had a 30% increase, and the time spent increased as well during the outbreak. People are looking for authoritative information on Weibo broadcasted by the government. And also we can see a lot of anxiety on the Weibo platform. There's like depression, there's sensitivity to like social risks, and people are expressing them a lot on Weibo during the outbreak. And most central, regional, and local government organizations, they are trying to use their Weibo account to relay news and share information to the general public. And even the World Health Organization has 2.2 million followers on Weibo, where they actually are sharing several posts per day to communicate on the official information. And most of the hot topics on Weibo were linked to the COVID-19 outbreak at this time, of course, and it created a lot of heated debates among the netizens, such as like fighting against eating wild animals and trying to correct like rumors, trying to kind of inform people about the accurate news and information they should do. And there's also like kind of other type of topics like quarantine boredom, just like everyone else in the world. And here is like, I know you guys don't read Chinese, but I'm just gonna introduce quickly like how it actually looks like on Weibo. So on the left side, there's a post about newly confirmed cases. So people are reading this through like this news media accounts. And then on the right side, it's a state-owned newspaper called People's Daily. And it's basically announcing like they are going against the consumption of wild animals. And here on the left side, it's again state-owned media, and they are trying to provide accurate information and also to ask questions, answer the questions people ask them. And there's also hospitals who are telling people what type of supplies they need, and then they ask like for help to mail the, like for example, surgical masks or gloves to their hospitals. And then on the right side, you can also see like, even from the picture, you can see they're really doing a lot of propaganda work on Weibo as well. So like national pride, also like pay respects to the medical staff and army are the kind of the central focus also on Weibo. So after you get a glimpse of like what why Weibo is such an important platform for people, I'm gonna hand over to Luli to let you guys know a little bit deeper in terms of how, what Weibo is and how people are using it on a daily basis.
Okay, thank you, Kathleen. Now let's dig into the Weibo interface 101. Here, this is the screenshot of your Weibo homepage, where you can find 5 buttons on the bottom of the page. First of all, when you turn on your Weibo, you will automatically land to the user home feed. Here shows the latest post from the accounts you followed, such as personal accounts of your friends, the celebrities you like, and the government account where you can find the official information. These functions are similar to Twitter's, such as publish, retweet, like, and leave comments. You can see the video bar. Here you can find all the videos categorized by sections, like recommended, short videos, And also they selected by themes like makeup, entertainment, foods on Weibo. The discovery, here you can find all the information like a search engine within Weibo, where you can find what you are looking for, such as during the COVID-19, when you enter the keywords, you will find all the news and hashtags and posts here. The message function is a private message where you can interact with other Weibo users. Also, verified accounts can send messages to all followers. Verified accounts means the brands, media accounts, organizations, and the celebrities who have been verified the ID by Weibo. The last one is me, actually. Me is the user homepage for all services and the setting to manage your own account. Let's move into the next page. Here's the user homepage. Here are 5 parts. You can find the follow accounts button. Here you can find all the posts from accounts that you followed. The story part is the account story. It's very similar to the Instagram story. And the you follow the account stories, which are very similar to the Instagram story, is the feeds of all the video posting. And the multiple media content is the feeds where you read posts, exist the text, photos, and videos. Actually, it's the body of your feeds. The shares, comments, likes functions can be taken to get more engaged with other users.
Okay, I think we're good.
Yeah, that's that. And on the right side, here you can find For You. This one is the homepage for the public information. Also, the user feeds recommended. This one is the categorized trending posts tailored to users' interest. The categorized means there are more than 16 categories available in a drop-down menu. Users can pin to their own customized category, as shown on the screenshot. For example, like celebrities, books, pets, fashions, sports, and also the city where you live in, what happened nearby you. And here are the discovery page. Actually, this one is the most utilized page favored by users. The search bar is the search engine of Weibo. You can not only enter what you are looking for with keywords, but also will be guided by the words in gray. These are the hot in Weibo, while some of them actually is the advertisement. The hot search showcases the trending topics. You can click the Show More button to see overall 50 hot topics. Different colors of the pin has different meanings. Yellow means the hot topic. Red means explode in the past hours with billions of discussion. Pink means the new one on the rank, and blue is the advertisement. And the Discovery Hero banner, this one is where advertisement being placed in the middle of the Discovery page to drive the traffic. Okay, after we know how Weibo works, now we're looking into the powerful cases to see how brands leverage Weibo to achieve their commercial goals. There are 4 main goals you can achieve on Weibo. They are gain impressions, increase fans, boost engagement, and even generate the sales. This one is a case study from Sergio Rossi. It's a brand awareness-driven advertisement on Weibo. To enlarge brand awareness and increase product exposure, Sergio Rossi leveraged the announcement of its first ambassador in China to engage with their fans and young people. In China, the celebrity economy is huge, while Weibo is the best place to take advantage of celebrity effect. The ad will highly encourage her fans to retweet the post and get much more exposure beyond the brand post. Okay, let's go to the second case. This one is a sales-driven case by SK2. To drive sales of SK2's limited edition product, Weibo ad was applied to the campaign. It encouraged the exploration of product details on their e-commerce platform, and they sold over 72,000 products through this campaign. The purchase can be done within Weibo because of the same Alibaba ecosystem. They have less platform boundary when compared to others. Well, early this year, Weibo announced the launch of Mini Store, creating its own e-commerce loop and offering additional resources for brands to offer seamless social e-commerce experience. With the advertisement, brand can still using e-commerce links to drive traffic with no limitation. And this case is engagement-driven by Kate Spade. They launched a mobile game within Weibo to attract attention and drive engagements inside the economy. The game was tested to get the personality and the dressing style matching. This one was presented by the brand with coupon as a prize to use offline store. The Weibo ads helped the brand increase the exposure to let more Weibo users participate into the game. During these years in China, gamification is the trend, and it can easily get engaged from audiences and bring them to get coupons to use offline. Also, these coupons can be tracked, so brand can clearly show the ROI through the whole campaign.
Okay, great. Thank you, Lily. So as we mentioned, we actually have a lot of expertise in China, and also we published different type of studies, both on Weibo or WeChat or some Chinese consumer insights. So if you're interested, you can go to our website to check it out. And here goes the Q&A session.
Thank you so much, Catherine and Lily. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to share them with us through the chat or the Q&A module. There's a quick first question here from someone, a more technical one. What's the difference between messaging and a messaging app and a microblogging app?
Yeah, so I'll say messaging app, like microblogging is more like Twitter. So people will post basically content in a really short format. And it's more like 140, I think, Chinese characters on Weibo. So that's why it's called micro. It's not like long form type of blogging, but people sometimes will include more long form content in the pictures. So they might have like an article, but the introduction is shown as a little paragraph as a Weibo post. Instant messaging app is more like, I will say early days MSN. I don't know if you guys have knowledge of that. So QQ is sort of like the MSN in China back in the 90s. And when people started to just message people privately for one-to-one chat. Does that answer the question?
I think it does. So Weibo has both functionalities because it also has a messaging app within it.
Yeah, basically it's a little bit like also like Instagram, where you can like kind of pick a person and you can send a private message to that person. So that's also a functionality that's available.
Okay, but it's not at all the main chatting app for Chinese citizens.
No.
Okay.
No.
Great.
Not at all.
Thank you so much. Here's another one. How do we work, or how can I work if I'm a brand with key opinion leaders, or as we know them here in the West, influencers on Weibo?
So actually, it doesn't make that much a difference when it's like on Weibo or on the Western platforms. So for example, like on Instagram, you'll probably identify influencers with a lot of followers, and they are posting a lot about your type of industry content. For example, if you're in beauty, maybe this Weibo influencer is posting a lot of makeup tutorials and trying to share their feedback on different or reviews of different products. And then it's the same thing basically. So on Weibo, there are people posting every day about beauty. There are people posting every day about fashion or sports or any type of consumer product, or they might have an expertise in a certain things like maybe medical. So people will actually brands will go for them according to their industry and then pay per post or pay for a certain type of activation involving like offline events, and people can influencers can go to their events and take pictures and then do even a live streaming, for example, on Weibo to showcase like the whole event. So I think the format wise is pretty much the same, and we do have like vertical experts on Weibo for different type of topics.
Okay, and still on that topic, when we look at the growth that Weibo has seen over the last few months and years, it really accelerated. Do brands can operate successful campaigns on Weibo, or do they prefer other platforms?
I think it's, I would say now everybody is talking about multi-channel. So when you actually go on Weibo, you reach a certain like pool of audience. But at the same time, what's the common practice of brands will probably go for multiple platforms depending on, again, their industry. For example, there's Weibo and WeChat are the main platforms that our brands are communicating on. But there's also like upcoming ones such as Douyin. A lot of fashion brands, beauty brands are actually, Douyin is, sorry, the Western world is like TikTok, but here in China, we call it Douyin. So it also has a lot of brand sponsorships, especially in fashion and beauty. And then we have a pretty beauty-focused platform called Red. So it's where people are leaving reviews of products, and people are just like going there for kind of information like what they should buy for a certain skin concern or something. So it depending on the brands, but different type of platforms will be like relevant. So brands will try to reach as many people as possible given their needs. So yeah.
Okay, and that's an interesting point. When we first thought about advertising online in China and what we've seen from the news in the past, it was a country where the single channel WeChat was the privileged one by brands. And as you just said, things are starting to maybe spread a little more. There are specific platforms, different types of targeting, and multi-channel is becoming a bigger thing in China. Do you think that that's something that international brands that advertise in China know? Do they operate in that new matter using more different channels, or is they still mostly investing on WeChat advertising?
I think actually when we like look back, Weibo actually started earlier than WeChat in terms of brand advertising. But because WeChat became the #1 social media app in China, that's why, and also because on WeChat, the brand experience is more like, I'll say not immersive, but more like from different angles, and they can have longer form of content, and visuals can be controlled by the brand. So a lot of people will go to WeChat for advertising. But Weibo and WeChat normally for international brands are the main platforms they know. Like when they try to enter China, everybody will tell them like, go on Weibo, go on WeChat. But now because like the traffic can be like diluted like to different type of platforms, and people might get bombarded with all this advertisement on the main platforms, although they are essential. But sometimes people want to find new channels to reach their consumers just to get ahead of other brands, to get ahead of other competitors. So I think a lot of international brands actually don't know so much about the upcoming platforms. So that requires some like China expertise to really like provide the information, monitor what's happening in the China ecosystem to be able to make the right choice.
All right. And social media and like in platforms like Weibo or WeChat, we can draw the very logical conclusion that B2C companies can really exploit that. But how about B2B companies? Do they use Weibo? Do you see a growth in advertising for this type of company?
I think B2B is also relevant on Weibo. I think for advertisement, definitely there are advertisement driven to business. But what I guess it's also because of the targeting wise. A lot of people like will have more consumer related type of advertisement, unless you're browsing a lot of like business related type of posts, or you're following certain like companies that are tailored to a certain industry, then probably B2B will still be relevant for you. But it will be slightly, I guess, less mass on Weibo than consumer facing.
Okay. And talking about the different areas and different sectors that we see, you gave us a few examples on the fashion, luxury, and beauty industry that use Weibo to advertise, to engage with the communities. How about other sectors like tech or culture? Do you see the same trends?
I think for museums, for example, they're actively like posting about their like latest exhibitions, and there's also like different events. And for consumer products, we can also expand it to like mother and baby products, or like FMCG type of things. So it's not, of course, it's not only tailored to luxury and beauty, but also we can really have all kinds of industries actually on Weibo.
And how difficult is it to grow its social presence on Weibo without an important budget, without buying the advertising space?
So there are some like really small tactics without a big budget, which means you won't have a ton of money to invest in advertisement. But at the same time, of course, organic content, if you have like relevant like hashtags, or if you leverage like the hot topics, which is currently on Weibo, then you will find easier to get exposed to more people. And for advertisement, we still like, of course, it requires money, but there are smart ways to maximize the budget through like optimization. So it's still a good way if you want a faster or more like metrics driven type of growth, then you probably want to invest in advertisement. Yeah.
And on that subject, can you tell us a little bit more about social ads on Weibo? How does it work? Is the return on investment efficient? Do you need to be a big company to play? And how accurate is the targeting? I know there's a lot of questions in there, but can you talk a little bit about that?
I'll leave this one to Luli, our ads expert.
Actually, on Weibo, there are several social advertisements. Some of them are really impression driven, like open screen or the hot topics. It costs per day, we call it CPB. So this kind of advertisement really call to a huge investment. But also we have some always on, like 粉丝通 is kind of feed ads. You can only post your own content. So this one is for the brand exposure to get more impressions and get more awareness. So this kind of advertisement is only for the always on, and it's not very huge investment. So it really depends on the objective and the budget. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You're muted. Yeah.
Yes. Let's talk a little bit about the spread of information and how it's controlled there in China. So Weibo allows immediate spread of information. You said that there are even a color code for a topic that's been trending on the last hour. So everything is extremely instant. It seems that it should be hard to control what people talk about. How does the censorship, what is the censorship situation on Weibo?
Yeah, so Chinese government plays a really like a big role in all this type of social media platforms for censorship. And of course, they use tools to detect like sensitive keywords, which are identified by probably government officials. And they, like Weibo specifically, they hired more than 1,000 people to basically what they call content reviewers to manually like screen the content, because sometimes when you use tools for the keywords, sometimes you don't really detect like the negative or like anti-government type of information. So it's apparently like very expensive. You are hiring like manpower to actually do this like every day. but it's not only about removing like anti-government. So it's like more complicated than you think, because there are tons of topics that are actually not allowed on Weibo. For example, like homosexuality. It's very hard to actually control the conversation because there's a huge LGBT community on Weibo, but actually using hashtags like I'm gay, or if you use like rainbow emoji on your profile, it's all banned, like it's not allowed. And it stirred a lot of anger among Chinese netizens, and it's basically a constant debate. And same thing with the COVID-19, when we had the whistleblower doctor who died after actually back like in December, he reported about the first coronavirus case about like people to people like infection. And then people, after he died, people started to use the hashtag I want freedom of speech. But of course, it sounds very dangerous in China, and it's banned on Weibo. So there's a constant ongoing like battle with censorship and Weibo. And I don't think there's a like perfect way for the government to control it yet, but they are doing a lot to make it happen.
Thank you, Catherine. There's a lot of questions and we only have a few minutes more. I shared Catherine's email on the chat, so don't hesitate to contact her directly if you want to pursue the discussions or if you want to ask more questions. Let's get back to the main topic here, which is sales conversion rates. How do I advertise as a brand, especially as a foreigner brand? Is there a more effective way for foreign brands to advertise on Weibo? How do I pick my platform? What are the conversion rates? Do you have any tips to give on that subject?
Sorry, Diego, you were breaking a little bit and the question was not exactly.
Sorry, do you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Okay, I was saying, let's get back to the main topic here, because there's a lot of questions on that, on advertising on those social media platforms that you mentioned, and especially Weibo. What is the best strategy for a foreigner brand, for instance, trying to come into China?
Yeah, I think first of all, to come to China, you need to localize your content, because the Western platform and the Chinese are really different. To have the localized version is the best way to reach out to Chinese consumers. Then to keep updated, even if your content is the best of the world, but you need to follow the news to trend, like all the hot topics. You need to follow what they are discussing on the social platform. Then to have monitor your advertisement, like have your expertise to A/B testing your different assets, and have the good way to think about your strategy. Then your goal has half of them will be achieved. Then let us just do it, and everything will be okay.
And once I identified my target, my population target, should I just try every possible platform there is, or should I choose a specific one and invest my budget in that?
I think the strategy is the first one, to identify what kind of platform you are fit for, then to invest your money. It will be the more smart way to use your money.
So for instance, if I want to distribute my project through Taobao from Alibaba, it would be a good strategy to start on Weibo.
Sorry, we broke again. Can you say it again?
If I want to distribute my products through Taobao by Alibaba, it would be logical to try and start on Weibo because of the connection, or not necessarily?
Yes, exactly, because Weibo is the most open platform and all the traffic scattered here. Also, with the huge boundary of the Alibaba ecosystem, it's your best choice, of course.
On the cases you showed, you've given us a lot of examples of videos. Do videos perform better than photos or text?
Actually, video just covers more information of your brand, but for the interaction or just the engagement rate, it depends. It really depends on what you want to communicate with the followers. To have the call to action words, it maybe sometimes get the different way to get the engagement. So this one is just one of the format. Yeah.
Okay. To close that tiny discussion, do you have any more recommendations on advertising on Weibo specifically?
Sorry?
Do you have any recommendations on any other recommendations on how to advertise on Weibo? Any specific details that we should keep in mind when trying to access our target through that platform?
My suggestion is to get closer relationship with the celebrities or even with the KOLs. But first of all,
which means influencers.
Yeah, influencers. That means you will get the more traffic and get more exposure by them. And to have the collaboration with them, you need to get the verification, and all the documents must be settled up before you get the post launch.
All right. As I said before, our time is up, but don't hesitate to send us an email to contact us. Catherine's email is on the chat. And well, thank you, Catherine and Lily, for your presentation today and for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming, joining us.
Thank you. We're going to close today's session of the Multiplex, and I hope to see you again tomorrow at 5:30 Paris time. So it's a different time for tomorrow, to talk about beauty and AI from San Francisco. Have a great day, everyone, and see you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.